Hello, you're watching the Harpreet Singh Show. I am Misha Tour, and in studio today we have some up-and-coming Canadian designers who are paving the way for the fashion industry. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
So Iman, Nakhala, what a beautiful name. Tell us, what does your name mean?
My name, Iman, actually it means faith.
Faith.
Yes. It's a long story why my mom gave it to me, but yeah, it means faith.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
And tell us a little bit about your background. You mentioned that you were born in Saudi Arabia, but you were also
Palestinian, yeah.
Okay.
My parents originally moved from Palestine to Saudi Arabia, so I was born there along with my sibling. I stayed there till I was 7, and then I moved to Canada, and this is where I was raised.
Okay.
Yeah.
And Taranjit, you were born and raised here?
Yeah, I was born and raised in Vancouver, and I took 4 years after 2009 and moved to New York, and I studied fashion design for 4 years.
So how was living in New York and the culture in New York different from Vancouver, the vibe in Vancouver?
It's much more vibrant, it's much more acceptable, and people are like willing to do and be different and be bold and creative. But it's also like, New York is crazy.
Right.
There's people and cultures and different diversities everywhere.
It's much more fast-paced.
Yes. And whereas Vancouver, you see the fashion in Vancouver is slowly blooming. It's slowly getting there. It's really inspiring to see where the fashion is going.
We're slowly transitioning and we're kind of stepping out of our box.
Yeah.
Now, you coming from a Middle Eastern background.
Yes.
In terms of fashion, like, we get a different idea of when we see Middle Eastern people with fashion. What are some of the misconceptions that the outer or the other countries, or from being from a foreign country, we kind of get a misunderstanding of? Yeah,
the media doesn't really portray it as a, in Saudi Arabia, thinking, oh, a woman is just wearing that black, dress and walking around. But, when you go there, you see people are actually like excited and creative, and they wear like beautiful things, and
you guys put a lot of value in how you dress and your clothing and your fashion and style, which we often don't get to see.
Yeah, no, it's important for us. First impressions are always important, so we always overdress. Let's just say, comparison to Canada.
Right.
We overdress all the time, so because you never know who you bump into. It's always to overdress.
And first impressions do make a lasting impression.
Exactly. So we're always always so glamorous and shiny and sparkly and always like put together. And so it's in Saudi Arabia, I mean, you'd think, okay, it's not that exciting, fashion wouldn't be, but they have a full boulevard of just like brand names and big designers, and it's beautiful to see. And
hopefully we get to see your name up there.
Yeah, hopefully soon. One day.
And so Taranjit, you being raised in Vancouver, what is the culture in terms of fashion? What's your observation and how we take on fashion from the South Asian perspective, and then as a Canadian born and raised?
I think automatically, if South Asian were to assume that someone's a fashion designer, they were like, okay, she didn't try hard enough in school. She just took this easy way out.
As a hobby.
As a hobby. Right. It's not something she was dedicated to. It's not something that she had to work for.
Right.
But as a designer, it's totally different. I went to the most rigorous school for design. It beat me up and built me up to the person I am today, the designer I am today. And I think being a South Asian designer and showing people that I'm not doing lingas, saris, and suits shows a different perspective on fashion in our community. It's surprising to just everyone in general. It's like, wait, you're Indian and you're not doing a suit?
Right.
I totally agree.
Why aren't you making a suit for me? Like, but it's like, it's great seeing that now. Like, I got to work with different models that are in the Apanic community, and they're accepting of my designs. They want to know more. They want to know more about the creative background. They don't really mind that it's different and it's bold, and it's great to see the acceptance from our community.
Right. And it's good for you to kind of take on that challenge and kind of show people like, no, there are other options, and you can kind of step out of the box.
No, I totally agree with her, what she said about you didn't try hard enough, like a way out type of thing. But
I think people just assume fashion is easy, and anybody can do it.
It's so not
easy.
it's so not easy.
It's a lot of work.
It's a lot of self-sacrifice too.
Well, you're a designer too, right? So you have like...
Yeah, it's a lot of, it's not just something that happens overnight. I mean, you're constantly improving and you're constantly, you look back at your previous collections and you're like, okay, how can I make this better? Or what can I learn? Or and you're observing things around the world and different cultures.
You're always in competition with yourself.
Yeah, and you're learning about other cultures and what works for them. What can I apply to my work or my ethics and things like that. So from you, coming from a Middle Eastern background, when you look at South Asian fashion, you know, like Lakshmi Fashion Week and things like that, what do you guys think of our fashion?
I get so excited. You have no idea. I am... Like I use my senses like to the sense, you know, like I touch a lot. Yeah. As a designer, you need to. Yeah. So textures. Oh my God. Like it's a big deal for me. So I get excited. I'm actually like, I'll always follow Lakme Fashion Week and like hopefully one day I'll be in it. But to see, like she said before, you know, you do the saris and stuff, but they do it in such a modern way that can be worn like super easily outside, you know, and especially now that the crop top and the skirt, you know, it's coming like in fashion. It's more in fashion right now. So to see that, it's super cool.
Coming from also as a Middle Eastern background, do you find there's certain challenges still as designers from there and for those who want to kind of expand on an international market, is it accepting for Middle Eastern designers?
Honestly, it's easier, I find, because you have Dubai, you have Lebanon, and you hear all these big names like Ali Saab or Zuhair Murad, so and they're international right now. So fashion in the Middle East is big, but let's just say like Palestine, that's a bit more reserved, obviously, because they think more about modesty. But if you have that two different cultures in you, you try to keep the modesty aspect in it, but you just want to create. You want to be creative. You want to do something different and still maintain that part of you. But with Dubai and Lebanon, like fashion is really big. So I think, besides, you know, New York Fashion Week and London Fashion Week, I think Dubai is...
And they're saying Dubai is going to be the next fashion capital.
Yeah, so. I know people are liking it.
Yeah. It's good to see. It's good to see that we're opening up and we're kind of, you know, opening up to different cultures and their ideas of fashion. And so, Taranjit, you living in New York, and you mentioned that there's a different vibe with New York and Vancouver. Would you ever kind of transition to India and maybe showcasing your collection there? Or?
Definitely, I definitely want to showcase my collection in India and show like the different perspectives of a Western kind of Indian influence collection. Like it's not totally, you know, out there to be Punjabi or Indian or whatnot, but it's different, and it would be different for the Indian clientele.
Right. Yeah. Well, thank you guys so much for being on the show. It was great talking to you.